Guys, we're entering a cold winter. Ignore the date. I mean thematically. You know, I've been thinking about the word nerd lately, and what it means to be a nerd in the big 2025. Because the thing is, right, people usually use it in one of two ways. They're either doing a really good Flash Thompson impression, or they're trying to fit a person into a box to describe how they like a super niche hyper fixation. Like, I don't know, Power Rangers. Both definitions imply a sense of exclusion. Being an outcast and being a nerd always felt like a package deal. I don't know if I can say that in current year. Because, let's be honest, nerd culture is no longer seen as this eldritch secret society only enjoyed by a few. Your teacher's a nerd, your boss is probably a nerd. Guy, there's this Nigerian mom I follow on TikTok who documents her journey getting into anime.
Anjiro, it's my guy now. Now the actor you go to collect now. This guy is my guy.
She's watching Demon Slayer without mentioning it's the Antichrist.
Still remember, say before they told him there'll be people.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have made strides. The most popular media to consume right now is considered nerd media. And despite the infighting and the obvious toxic environments that we are not going to talk about in this video, nerd culture has become more inclusionary, with those same people that were excluded and bullied creating communities where the cycle of hate does not continue. The only problem with that is when people take that little open invitation of inclusion, drag it out back, and shoot it in broad daylight.
I don't know what this is.
Megan Thee Stallion's music tequila, so you can come check it out.
I don't know. It's really free Tory, so I don't know. I said it's free Tory.
Alright, so this clip came from a streamer who was clip farming at a convention. And I don't really care what you believe in, man. Saying free Tory at a Megan Thee Stallion booth really only comes off as trying to intentionally tick people off. The sad part is clip farming sums up a lot of content online nowadays. Okay, just look at Twitter. And the people that do the clip farming are now invading these nerd spaces and low-key ruining them, getting their clips and killing the vibe at a lot of these events. I think it's worth exploring just how the hell did these nerd spaces become the new nesting ground for a lot of these clip farmers. Hopefully it'll give some much needed context so the next time that you go to an event or a community meetup, you might be a little bit more ready when someone gets a camera and shoves in your face just randomly saying, "If I fuck animals."
Whatever happens, happens.
Recently, I went to this year's DreamCon, an anime, manga, gaming, and content creation convention hosted by veteran YouTubers RDC. Now, I went last year and I had fun just abusing my industry badge to meet all my favorite YouTubers growing up. I was attending special creator events hosted by YouTube and overall just getting a bundle of motivation that I would carry into my work when I got back home. But I did feel, despite me going all 3 days and I was having a blast by you, I didn't really enjoy the biggest aspect the convention offers, which is the community. I need to talk to these people. These are my people. I mean, where else am I gonna find someone to talk about the importance of musical storytelling in video games? Okay, now I didn't find anybody in DreamCon to talk about this, but this is probably the most likely place. So this year, my plan was to enjoy being with my fellow countrymen as much as possible. And the result? Guys, look how black this is. Come on, man. In all the right ways. Some of the coolest people I have ever met. Feeling those raw emotions of belonging over the most nerdy stuff is what I live for, okay?
Nigga jam! It's the nigga jam!
Add that on top of the fact that the majority of the people that went were fellow black nerds, a demographic of people that historically had no place to belong, and the fact that it was founded by some ragtag YouTubers whose whole shtick is dream chasing just adds to what this event means to me and so many others. But this, unfortunately, is where the issue starts. The cool thing about DreamCon compared to other anime conventions is that it promotes the idea of coming here to cultivate and network with other creatives in an attempt to kind of iron sharpen iron kind of thing, which is why it gets so many YouTubers and streamers showing up. Big creators or small creators, it's like a Reverie arc in One Piece, just minus the slaves. Okay, maybe that was a bad example. But actually, you know, it does have one thing in common with that arc, and that is both of them have become a nesting ground for the sociopaths.
Are you a furry? Reality?
This is not the time to do this.
Become a dog woo? I'm sorry. Can you explain your cosplay one more time? PlayStation. What's PlayStation?
And I'm not exaggerating, okay? I mean that in the truest sense too. Because people will go to these popular events because they know how many eyeballs are on it. Creating some of the lowest form of content, specifically harassing people by blindsiding them with sexual or inappropriate interviews. Or just say some dumb stuff like this. Hoping, begging to get someone riled up enough that they go trending on Twitter the next day. This was kind of a problem last year, but with the convention only getting bigger in scale and capacity, it's becoming a growing pain voiced by a lot of people. Fortunately, most content creators weren't making this kind of slop. Every interview I did was tame and fun. Not to mention the creative panels and events made by the community. Like bro, the fact they had a constant wrestling match going on and you could just sit down and watch in the main hallway, it just goes to show that this stuff is for everyone, okay? And if you're one of those people at home watching thinking, where does wrestling belong in DreamCon? People don't care about wrestling that much, right? That is a sure way sign that you don't have a lot of black friends, because ask any black person who they have in their top 5 humans, and I promise you a good 45% of them will probably say Jeff Hardy.
Top 3 humans of all time?
Yes, sir.
Jeff Hardy!
Now, despite the ratio being overwhelmingly more positive than negative, the community is understandably kind of eerie about this situation. Because even outside of DreamCon, there is an upward trend of these opportunists invading these nerd spaces, causing a lot of people to be on guard whenever they lock eyes with somebody with a phone in hand, reading chat, and then slowly walking up to you like, hey, can I ask you a question? Now, I wanted to understand this more, which embarrassingly made me research a topic I realized I knew nothing about. And if the title didn't flop, you already know what I did research. What I'm labeling this trend is the Alright, so it starts off with a scene, right? It could be a new political movement, a new show, any hyperfixation, it doesn't really matter. The scene brings about fanatics. Now, they don't create like the creators do, but they contribute a serious amount of energy, time, and money to this new scene. Now, both of these guys are geeks. Or nerds. I'm not really bothered to differentiate the two, okay? And they both talk about this new thing day in and day out. God willing, the scene gets big enough and it attracts mobs. And the mobs, they're not as crazy as the fanatics, but they do show up to have a good time. They engage positively with the new thing, but they try as hard as they can to contribute as little as possible in exchange. The majority of the community is going to be mobs, okay? There's not that many fanatics out there. There's not many geeks willing to pump into this thing. Otherwise, the new thing never really gets off the ground and the creators can go full time focusing on the new thing. After a while though, and for multiple reasons, the fanatics and the mobs start beefing. When there's just too many mobs and not enough fanatics to handle the organizational stuff, event planning, and community building, it can kind of dilute the culture and the original essence of the new thing. Now don't get me wrong, the mobs like the new thing, but it's a little on the complicated and weird side if they could prefer. A lot of the times their favorite thing about the new thing is the least original thing about the new thing and is more likened to the more popular things in media. This analogy is out of whack. I'm sorry. Now, if I'm honest, this point doesn't really apply to DreamCon as much because it clearly states that it's a mix of multiple different interests centered around being a black nerd. So it is super normal to see an Okaroon and a Luffy cosplay arguing on is MJ or LeBron better. But yeah, at this point, the fanatics are kind of like, bunk this. I came here to support the geeks, not the mobs. We're out of here. And so they could potentially quit. But here's the kicker. What swoops down like a flying eagle onto the community at this time is the first signs of the psychopaths coming to play. The new thing becomes cool enough that it attracts sociopaths that see it ripe for exploitation. The insidious part about this is initially no one thinks it's a problem that the sociopaths are there. What's the harm in more people enjoying the new thing, even though they're not super fans? It'll bring more eyes to the creators and their work. The sociopaths will present themselves as creators, they'll talk like creators, they'll even create content like the original creators. arguably never as competently, but they still create, slowly inseminating themselves into the community.
Gambit. Please, Japan.
Now, the geeks see this change in the community happening, but the mobs don't have a freaking clue, okay? The sociopaths finds a way to monetize the geeks and the mobs, consensually or not, in a way the creators could never do. But yeah, basically they bring a bigger, and depending on your views, different light onto the scene. And some fanatics and geeks can keep up with this new mutated environment, maybe even thrive, but some can't. In the process of expanding this new thing to appeal to so many different people, it makes it less accessible and less welcoming to the original geeks, the ones that have been there since day one. So reluctantly, after seeing their home become unrecognizable, they leave. After a couple years, the cool factor of the new thing is all used up, partly because it's no longer new, and partly because it got diluted. And no one thinks anything that is diluted is cool. The mobs begin to dwindle. The sociopaths squeeze as much resources as they can get, and they move on to the next exploit, leaving behind a husk of what that thing used to be. And a group of geeks who are devastated, wondering what happened to their wonderful little new thing. What this is a blog post on the death of subcultures I found online, and I think it pretty accurately describes gentrification. Cause while actual gentrification usually deals with the process where high status people relocate or invest in low income neighborhoods, and in doing so displaces low income people and fundamentally changes the culture and the character of that said neighborhood, I think you can see the correlation I am drawing here, where certain creators come to DreamCon, create content, which raises DreamCon's social status and popularity as a whole, but in doing so, it could lead to it attracting certain people, and now the convention no longer is primarily about anime, gaming, and content creation, but just content creation. And content creation of the lowest form, in my opinion.
I'm not even talking about making their own content, live streaming. No, following people. Funny Mike was like just followed the entire time he was there. He had a posse that I thought was his, but no.
That guy. Why was the first clip I saw about DreamCon online after coming back a clip where some random dude calls DDG doo-doo garbage and they proceed to jump him like it's Jujutsu Kaisen? DreamCon was 99% amazing for me. The growing pains I had with last year's event was more or less fixed, and I am more than willing to continue supporting because they are trying to improve the quality. Watching them, we are literally witnessing the small guys become the big guys in real time. Okay, it's inspiring. But how do you balance the further development into a super big convention and not feel like you're displacing the people that have been supporting you since day one by how unfamiliar it could be? Genuinely, it's a problem I think we have to talk about. You can't just say stuff like, it's not that deep, it is what it is, this happens at every con. No, you can't. Not every con heavily tells content creators to come in and create content. And in a world where people are so well compensated for doing the craziest stuff, all for a couple seconds of fame.
And these 5 guys, all with cameras, just pull up and they literally just start doing and saying the wildest shit until they get kicked out.
You can't write this off as it's not that deep. You just can't. Not in good conscience anyway. And I know, it's usually the non-anime, non-RDC fans that we really are talking about here. But that's what I'm saying. The truth is, the percentage of people that don't really care about the core themes of DreamCon coming in is only gonna get bigger. The same reason we bonded so heavily and found community in the exclusivity of our interests from the outside world, you take that same community and put the power in their hands. Take ownership of DreamCon. It's as much your event as it is RDC's. Now, we can't blacklist people, okay? We can't, because... Okay, we're just not doing that, okay? But what you can do is at least sound out some of the slop online by uplifting the ones that were doing it right. Now, DreamCon is already doing a great job at this. I've seen this myself. But we should have an even greater emphasis showing a creator spotlight on the people who are really upping their content while at DreamCon. I don't know, maybe some kind of special shout out that the people can vote for to show people who are really pouring into DreamCon and not taking away. Some of you guys have seen this get built brick by brick and you were there for it and you were actively helping, okay? Don't let it get diluted. Don't let the magic of what we've been able to capture burn out. But yeah, only time will tell how things will unfold. Fingers crossed that it goes in the right direction. Again, these are just my thoughts. These are not really crazy practical solutions. I just felt like I had to make a video on this coming back from DreamCon. I literally came back like a couple days ago. I do have one suggestion, just one idea I feel like you should tell every single security guard when people are coming into DreamCon to ask. And the question is, go into the back of your head, name 5 anime that aren't shonen.
What y'all talking about, bro? You're dying. You're literally dying.
What's up, boys? Thank you for watching another video on this side of the internet. If you enjoyed what you saw, make sure to like, subscribe, all that jazz. Also, we have a Discord. I am trying to build a community over there, so if you're interested, head over to the Discord, join it. I'll be there. You can talk to me, all that noise. I also have a Patreon if you guys want to support me in any other way other than liking and commenting, but that is all that you need, to be honest. If everybody watching this video right now were just to like and comment, that would do wonders for the algorithm. So thank you very much. Also, shout out to the second channel. I am doing a playthrough of Deltarune. I know they're just random videos that I have on my head that I just want to make smaller videos on. So if you are interested in that, head over to the second channel. And yeah, I think that's all the plugs I got. My voice is still gone from the event. New video out hopefully by the end of this month. Yeah, I'll see you guys in a bit.